It's time, ladies and gentlemen, the fight of the night. We got Optic Gaming going up against E6. This is, of course, the North American 2K final. I'm so excited. Once again, we have Optic playing in another 2K final. They've been pretty,
pretty
dominant
consistent with
so
that
far, and as you said, very, very consistent. But we get to see E6. Excited to see this squad. Of course, we were hanging out with Crushmo this past weekend. He was coaching a squad out in Canada, so it's going to be great to see him back on the sticks.
And, you know, we get to, especially on these finals, we get to see different looks at different teams challenge Optic going here into the Columbus Open. And last week, we saw Vex, and now we're going to see who E6, well, what E6 can do against Optic, like we saw what Vex can do against Optic last week. So maybe they'll have a better challenge.
I'll have to, of course, wait and see. That game is going to be starting up very, very soon. But before we get there, let's take a look at Optic Gaming's journey throughout this 2K. They've been playing pretty well. Round 2, they went up against Black, relatively easy. Trust, Avalanche, ENX, and in the semifinals, they were able to shut down Glory. So pretty, standard kind of run for those guys. ENX and Glory, a couple of teams you may recognize. But yeah, as I said, very, very kind of standard run for them. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, E6, we'll take a look at that journey. They managed to shut down NRG in their semifinals, as well as managing to beat Orbit in round number 4 and LG in round number 5. But NRG, really one of the more notable squads there on that list. But as I said, E6 coming out looking very, very good throughout this whole 2K this past weekend.
Yeah, and that number 3 is PR and the Funky Bunch in them, and that's the one team that Lennox was on.
Lennox team,
actually,
yeah.
yep. So, but yeah, so those guys, both these teams out here, they had some good runs, but now E6, you saw Hudson's talk about in that video how when it comes down to the Columbus Open and Gfinity London, how well they're gonna be, how dominant they're gonna be, and you can almost say the Columbus Invitational was a good bout for these guys. They had a lot of close matches. It was a lot of 7-6 victories. They definitely fought back, and they showed a lot of perseverance as a team. But they were also a new team at that time. So hopefully, since then till now, they've perfected their craft. They've gotten better, and that's one thing that E6 is actually known for. They were the longest standing team in Gears of War UE for about, I want to say, almost a year or two. They had the same roster, so that's one of their strengths. Yeah,
dedicated.
exactly.
I like it.
Yeah, definitely dedicated to all their teammates. So
building
hopefully,
as a team.
Yep, we'll see this roster just evolve going forward here.
One of the key things as well to note from that video as well was kind of Hudson's talking about the play style. And how they're a team that's going to win the first gunfights, and then they're going to hold it, and they're going to get a setup, and they're going to be very difficult to break. Excited to see how that's going to pay out for them this evening, because I do feel like there's a time and a place for that. Right?
Yeah, because
there's a time where it's like, okay, I appreciate you playing slow, I appreciate you playing for that, but then at the same time, there's a time where it's like, hey, you just got 4 players down.
That may
throw
be
a pair and just go.
That may be their downfall here against Optic. To be honest with you, Hudson's may have gave it to you guys. They're going to win those initial gunfights. We'll say maybe because that video was recorded a while ago. But they say they're going to win their initial gunfights and whole setups. But that is the team that E6 is. But Optic, we know they win gunfights and they keep going.
Yeah,
so it's two different play styles here.
Optic Gaming can get very, very scary very, very quickly.
5 seconds on the clock. I'm God Blaze. This is Benson. Map number 1. We're going to be on board here with Lift. E6 versus Optic Gaming. And we're going to take a look here at the overhead map. And looks like both teams are going to break off, and they're going to send 3 down to this B hill and 2 to cap their home hill.
Just going to kick things off with Explosive from Optic Gaming. So worth mentioning as well, this grand final will be a best of 3, as was the European 2K final. As Kenny now on your screens, you can see has the support of a teammate, but it's going to be Hudson's from E6, which is over there causing him a little bit of some problems. Will Kenny be able to finally find this kill? Hudson's more than happy to just kind of wait out. He's going to be pushed, and now Hudson's just kind of baiting out slowly. Doesn't really have any team support here. He's actually going to get pinched if he isn't too careful. Lava's the one that's going to try and come down the fight, but the support fire did come through, and Lava almost kind of got baited into that one, it felt like.
No, he definitely almost did. And Hudson's, he wasn't able to get any more support than that. He did come out with 1 kill. It is going to be Explosive down. We're going to have Notches push up here. He's going to have 2 members in front. He's going to wall bounce to the right, try to trade a shot in. And E6 will have a good advantage here in this fight. They just need to make sure they clean up the kills and start to break the hill. And they almost would have had B hill there. Now we're going to see them slowly start to get B hill, but Explosive is there to contest Eternity. Notches needs to get there in time, but Eternity is able to win that 1v1 fight. And now E6 will come out of here with a 2 cap.
And E6 do have a little bit of a lead, around about 20 points as it stands, 82 to 62. B and C in their control, so they're going to be building on that lead as well. So now we really get to see kind of how Optic Gaming they will approach these kind of scenarios where they are down. I mean, previously, last fight night that we saw, they were very, very passive. They waited, they absorbed pressure, and then they made a push as a team, and they were able to win those crucial team fights and retake control of the map. But E6, as we kind of heard in that video, you give them a 2-to-1 hill advantage. They're going to set up in a very, very tough to break kind of setup, and that's what you're seeing right now. Look at that overhead, really kind of gives you a good look at those blue arrows. Of course, the blue arrows being E6, the red Optic Gaming. Hudson's going to put down a lot of fire. Optic Gaming just seem to be taking some time at this point to figure out how do we break this E6 setup, but E6 more than happy to sit here putting down shots for the Lancer.
Now, as Hudson's talked so much about, you know, their ability to be able to hold setups effectively is showing right here, because Optic has not been able to break this setup so far. They are spread out in good positions of the map where they can watch their home hill, watch B. Now, Optic is going to do a 4-man push on his B hill. Now, Hudson's, this transition is going to be crucial here, and he's going to be all support here as he just puts a lot of fire down, making sure that Optic cannot get this B hill for free. But members of E6 will start to pick up kills here. They're going to actually get 2 kills. Hudson is opting to play across map, knowing that his teammates is going to lose the B hill. He pushed across the cap C to make sure his team held a 2-cap advantage.
And they now just need the 1 hill to win. And what was so beautifully elegant there about that E6 defensive play was they had the numbers over at B. Optic Gaming, they out-flooded them. And E6, rather than staying and fighting, they gave up the B hill completely. They sent extra resources to overextend with Hudson's. They were able to cap Optic Gaming's home hill, and just by doing that, they bought themselves enough time to comfortably close out the game. That was a wonderful, wonderful play from E6.
Now, we rarely see Optic Gaming lose the first round, but now they're going to get that weapon selection. What do they want to do is the real question.
I want to see Mental with a sniper rifle again. I know it's probably not going to... Oh, don't do it. Don't do it to him.
They teasing you, Benson.
Yo, Mental, man, why you gotta be like this, dude? It summons with the pick, but Mental, I know you try to tease me, boy. Oh well. Well, hopefully we get to see it later on, because last week he was
yeah,
well,
he was
a
mental.
savage.
He was mental.
Yeah, for lack of a better word, yes, he was. Very, very talented young individual.
So those flame grenades is going to be used to kind of zone out that B hill, prevent players from actually pushing down there and prevent them from capping it very, very easily. So the question is, who's going to fight that? It was Kenny fighting up there for Optic's team, but it's going to be Lava up here. Lava and Kenny fighting together. The timing of those smokes allow Lava to get the frag grenades without being contested. Now, that's something I want you amateur players to notice out there. If you time your smokes perfectly, as you're picking them up, nobody can shoot you. So that's just coming down to good teamwork, and Lava with the nade there on Hudson's, the quick revive on his teammate, knowing that Nox is in a good position. He's not going to overextend here, making sure he gets closer to his teammate where he can revive them, but Noxious is going to actually overextend here. Wow. And he's going to go down there, giving up a free kill to Optic Gaming, and they're going to control this B hill.
Noxious maybe getting a little bit giddy there as he pushed in to try and 1v2. Optic more than happy to kind of take that trade. As it stands, Optic do have B and C under their control. Now we get to kind of see the reverse of side number 1, as I say that. A hill completely neutral. I was going to say we get to see how Enigma 6 can play off the back foot, but it seems like Optic Gaming just so aggressive at the A hill. Explosive not giving anything up.
He's
trying to get this
meleeing everybody. Just to beat you down.
I'm gonna beat you down. I'm gonna beat you all down. As Explosive and Co will cap E6's
saying,
hill.
don't mess with my money. Pow.
You see such a different playstyle between the two teams. You do. You see Optic Gaming capitalize instantly on a small advantage.
They get that neutral point. They're already at your home hill. I can almost guarantee you that 95% of the time we see Optic Gaming win an initial fight for neutral point, you will slowly see the domination fall soon after. Even if they don't get it, you will hear that notification come in.
So this is what's interesting, and I want to get your opinion on this. Which playstyle is kind of more likely to be broken? Is it you're playing longer, so you're more likely to lose those 1v1s, or is it if you all overextend, you're more vulnerable to all die and then lose a trip cap back, like reverse the trip cap, so to speak? Which playstyle is kind of scarier?
I think the playstyle that's scary is actually playing passive and trying to win off of points. Just like I say, anything can happen. If you find an opportunity to be able to close out the game, you close it. But also those playstyles change as the rounds go on, as those respawn timers increase. Earlier in the game, you almost maybe want to play for points depending on how quick that somebody is respawning. You can kind of trade kills that way unless you get a big cluster of kills. But then when it comes down to late game, you almost want to play for points because you don't want to overextend and get slayed and you get trip caps. So
exactly that.
And then it comes down at fine point mid game where you get like those 16-second respawns where you have to make a decision on which play style you want to choose. But that's the beauty of escalation.
That's why it's such a good game mode. As it stands, of course, it's 1-1 between E6 and Optic Gaming. Map number 1 here at one North American 2K final. On board with Noxious, and E6 should easily be able to cap that B hill. Of course, at this time, we are at 14-second respawns here in round number 3, and we could see a domination coming from E6. E6 saying, hey, you know, hold on, we can be aggressive too, you know. We know when to kind of put our foot on the gas pedal, but they have backed away. But bear in mind, the longer it stays like this, the better for E6. As it stands, Optic Gaming not getting any points. They're desperately trying to hunt down Crushmo, but Crushmo, he's more than happy to just kind of bait one player out that was mental. He will fall, and just that one brief kind of moment of play, E6 have built themselves a 20-point lead.
You know, I almost, you know, asked myself, should Noxious have pushed over there and helped his teammates out and fight a little bit more for the domination? He opted to hold down control for his team, and him in Eternity, he's actually going to pick up 2 kills there to secure that B hill for his team. So he says, hey, I made a good play, Blaze. I didn't need to push in there. You know, I can defend this hill by myself. And now we're going to see E6 play for the domination.
And this time they should be good to potentially try and get this. Lava's going to throw the smoke. If they push off the hill, they're going to need to slay outside of it, and that's exactly what they do. And E6 showing that they know how to kind of turn the pace as well. They're not afraid. They don't want to necessarily always play for points. As they apply that pressure just under 2 minutes that round. No Eternity currently sitting with 6 kills, currently leading the lobby.
You know, you have to pick, in these earlier rounds, you have to pick the perfect time to strike, because you have to know when you get a good cluster of kills, you need to know when you need to play for that domination. It's not a guaranteed thing to play for all the time, especially if you notice that your teammates aren't in a position to do it, or even if they have that slight bit of hesitation. The slightest bit of hesitation will prevent your team from getting a 3 cap.
They're trolling me so hard, man, I swear.
It's like League of Legends picks.
It is. It's like hovering a Teemo mid, and then all of a sudden you change to an Ariana. It's just not as fun. It's just not as fun. But, oh, actually, Explosive actually leading the lobby in kills. My mistake, 8 kills for Explosive. Eternity trailing that just by 2.
Arguably the best player in this game right now.
Explosive?
Yeah, Explosive definitely
He's
came out.
so good. Like, is it just he's played more? Is he just practiced more? Because, like, everything, he seems to be a very well-rounded individual. Like, when you think about it, his movement is there, his shot is there, he just kind of has everything.
Yeah, Lava trying to snake here, trying to overextend past the smoke, running that side rail here, and he's going to actually get himself in a position that E6 members are not expecting, and he comes out of the smoke, and he takes out Eternity right there. Eternity not expecting, so Lava, noticing he has 2 1v1s around him. He's going to opt to back out of here, stay alive, and he's going to rotate across map to make sure his team does not get 3 cap.
The problem Lava had was his teammates kind of died on him there. He was in a great position to cause some grief for Enigma 6, but props to Lava. Managed to escape that sticky situation with his life. Because of that, can wait for his teammates to come up for 16-second respawns here in round number 4. On board with Affinity, he's going to shut down Summons as he just kind of pushed over towards him. But now, Affinity may actually go for a little bit of a push here. Has the numbers as they can try and shut down. I believe that's going to be Kenny. Kenny will drop. So, as I said, the numbers now heavily in E6's favor. You see them float over towards C. And I feel like on a map like this, you have to be aggressive. This is not a map where playing for points seems to be a consistent play style.
This would be a good motivational round here for E6 if they can dominate Optic back-to-back, which is no easy feat, but they will lose the neutral hill across map as of now. But Eternity won that 1v1 against Explosives, and he's going to get control over it. So Optic needs to make sure they recap their home hill. They're not getting any points, but also the lead is not that big. Anything can happen, folks. This is domination.
As Hudson's on your screen, we're going to go over to Lava's perspective. He's pretty tagged up. He's going to drop B. E6 are doing such a good job of just keeping that one under their control. Consistently, time and time again, clutching up, winning those big gunfights. Finally, though, Mental will burst onto the B hill. He will shut down Eternity. So it looks good that maybe Optic Gaming can start chipping away at the early E6 lead. Of course, it's, as you mentioned, still very, very close. If it stayed like this, Optic would win in terms of points. But we'll see exactly what Summon's game plan is going to be.
And so Optic, they will get control over this B point. Now they're playing catch up before they play for the domination. They're playing for a lead because they know, hell, at this point, E6 has to make a push here. They have to. If not, Optic's going to get this lead. So now they're just fortifying their defenses and trying to see which direction E6 is going to play for. Are they going to play for the home hill? They're going to play for the neutral. And I think E6 will play for Optic's home hill.
That'd be tough, but we'll wait and see. They're just trying to get themselves into a good position. That's not going to help, though. Someone's with the pick on Eternity, and Kenny now says, all right, well, this is my time. We already have one player down. I'm going to kind of distract and force the E6 players to kind of fall back on towards himself. A goes over to Optic Gaming, but the problem is B and C are both now completely neutral, and you can see the score. Optic Gaming have taken the lead. B should be good to go over towards E6, but here it comes Kenny. He's on the flank, 2 players of E6 in front of him. Is he going to be able to shut down one? He should be able to.
Don't do it!
Nicely done. That's Hudson's looking for another. Kenny!
Oh, wow. If he would have got done in right there, I would have told them they need to drop Infinity and pick back up beside it, because you can't let Kenny turn on you like that one. But Infinity closed it out here, and this is going to be a close one, folks. E6 just needs to hold one heal
just
now.
Just hold A, and you win at this point. You don't need to do anything else fancy. Krishma is going to secure the W with a nice pick, and Noxious there with 2. So E6 in control here in map number 1. 3 rounds to 1, the advantage.
E6 looking good.
They are looking very good.
They looking good. They go up 4-1. That's gonna say something about these guys.
I feel like this is a big statement for E6 as well. Not just against Optic Gaming, but for everyone else. You know, all the other teams out there watching who are like, oh, you know, Optic's the best. We have to worry about Optic. We have to worry about Optic. E6, a couple of weeks before the event, beat Optic in a best of 3. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, well, crap. We got to worry a little bit about E6 too. And yeah, it can really give you a good mental boost.
And you know, one thing I definitely want to say is that, you know, these teams have a few days to prepare for each other before they get to these fight nights, you know, and it looks like E6 did their preparation. And Optic, with that weapon pick on the map, they placed Ensigns there. E6 had placed the shock grenades at the top, but they're going to opt to put Botox there, and that's a toss-away pick. That's a pick saying, hey, we don't want to choose nothing decisive this round here, you know, because we plan on winning. We want E6 to make that move. We're just going to put some Botox here.
Optic still feeling confident despite being 3 rounds to 1 down. Now we're going to see E6 off the break. Noxious on your screen. He's going to have Lava in front of him. Of course, Lava not going to opt to go through the smoke this time. Although we did see a bold push. Noxious has got his hand on the Incense as well. And you can see just trying to get as much information as he possibly can. Oh, you're capping B. Well, I'm going to try and cut that off completely. Is he going to be able to get the second one off in time and completely trap that player in Optic in? It doesn't look like he's going to be able to do so.
Was not a good enough instant there to stop that, but he needs to get up there and help his teammate, because he's leaving his teammate vulnerable, but Explosive doing what he does best, taking the slightest advantage that he can get, the slightest opening in the team strategy, and he used that to put some fire on Noxious' teammate with that shock grenade coming out, which was is going to cut off. I actually want to say that's his teammate's shock grenade there in that position, but Optic will control this neutral hill for a little bit longer. Is going to build up some points here, and so now E6 needs to formulate a strategy, and it looks like E6 is going to play across the map and let these members of Optic, you know, have to rotate. So they're going to be playing for that opposite home hill.
Of course, AC Explosive was able to get up, as well as that Kenny's managed to pick up a Boltok. See how much damage he's going to do with that, but we're on board with Eternity from E6 here. Teammate in support as they slowly but surely edge towards Optic Gaming's home hill. And we'll see if he's going to be able to put down some shots. As I said, they have numbers here, E6. They need to be careful, though, that no one from Optic overextends towards that C hill. It's going to be pretty tough, of course, though, with the size of this
Eternity
map.
needs to get in here, picking up 1 kill, picking up 2 kills. And they can get this hill, but the question is, what's going on at the B point?
Bear in mind how quickly those kills came in as well.
Yeah,
so you can have 3 players completely timed very well. That's 4 players down.
Be the only one over here.
Lava's down, or sorry, Lava, the only one up. Eternity has a teammate in support.
Oh, he's not even playing. This Smart, not even playing for the fight.
Oh!
Can't hop over. He's playing for the cap. Good job not chasing down that kill, Eternity.
That was, you see what Lava was going for there. He was just trying to contest, buy his teammates time off spawn for them to contest their home hill. But as he was mid-mantle, E6 saying,
yeah, he gets chunked.
Nah, pal, not today. This ain't how we lose a domination. E6 4-1 in the lead here, map number 1.
What does Optic want to do? That's the real question here.
I mean, how many times does Optic practice in this situation where you're 4-1 down?
And actually, Optic has placed every weapon on this map here. E6 just opted to block a weapon point. So what do they want to do here? They're baiting us, Benson. I don't think they're gonna put snipe down.
You wouldn't do it.
Nah,
they don't have the cojones to do it.
Look at that. It's gonna be nades. It's gonna be another set of nades. I knew it was gonna be another set of nades. A lot of these teams, they play these nades throughout the entire match.
Yep. I mean, nades are strong.
No, they are strong.
That makes sense, but I mean, you're 4-1 down. Of course, this is the last round as well before halftime, so it doesn't really matter what you put. It's going to get wiped out. Try and give yourself as big of an advantage as possible. Those nades have gone down in control room. But back to the point I kind of made just a couple moments ago. How many times do Optic find themselves 4-1 down? It's interesting, right? When you're the quote-unquote best team in the game and everyone is trying to catch up to you, when you're behind, that's when you really get to see what a team is really made of.
And this is a rare opportunity for us to actually see how these guys kind of play from behind here. And I think Lava may opt. Now, he's not going to hop over. He knows that Noxious is in a good position to chunk him if he hops over. So Noxious is going to cap that. And he wants Lava to hop into this hill. And he's going to use his right hand advantage, and Lava punishes him and says, "Don't you ever try that again."
Right hand. What?
Yeah, advantage?
You would have thought. Optic Gaming spring into life. And they will secure the B and C hill A, looking good as well. And that is how you trip cap.
And so Optic does not go down here to a 5-1 deficit, but they will be down here 4-2, and it will be halftime here, folks. So all these weapons is going to get wiped off the map. Respawn timers will go back down to 10 seconds, and these hills will be flipped.
Well, looking at the first half of action, do you think this is E6's map now, or can you see Optic Gaming kind of fighting back on this second side?
It's going to all come down to this first round here, but E6 definitely has the momentum. But at the Columbus Invitational, we've seen time and time again where E6 had a lead like this, and they let Splice come back and beat them out.
You're just going to remind them of the horrible memories of the Splice comebacks.
But yeah, E6 has to close out these games.
For sure,
they've had so many 7-6 matchups where either they get enough energy to come back and tie it up, or they just kind of lose momentum and let the other team just come back and win the game. So if they can beat Optic Gaming here a good 7-3, 7-2, that definitely makes a statement on how much they've improved.
Well, on board with Explosive, he has Kenny in support. A player has been down as well. Of course, E-Hill now will be the neutral one as Crushmo just dives in there. He does clean up Kenny, and he will pay the price, maybe, or Noxious will pay the price rather for being a little bit over aggressive. Crushmo just comes in, he's like, I'm gonna clean up everybody. Not even worried. Explosive and Summons both go down. So once again, the E-Hill, the mid-neutral hill, being controlled by E6. Now, if you remember the very first round of the entire map, E6, when they had that 2-1 hill advantage, they play extremely passive. They didn't want to push forward for a trip cap. Maybe that's something that you kind of touched on earlier on, that decision of the respawn time. How much of a factor that has in E6's playstyle. Of course, here, round number 1 of the second half, it's only going to be at 10 seconds. So maybe they're going to play a little bit more passive, absorb the pressure, and just force Optic Gaming to break that setup as opposed to being overly aggressive, trying to get an Optic Gaming space. Yeah,
they won a lot of the earlier rounds in the first half with the lower respawn times, and Optic Gaming always taking advantage of their man advantage. And they won the later rounds here with the 20-second respawns because they just knew that, with E6 members being dead, they had more members up. They knew that they could rotate faster than these guys can respawn. But we have E6 once again almost coming out this domination, but it's going to be members here are Optic by their home hill. And this actually, I take that back, it's going to be E6's home hill. And Hudson is going to be passively defending this, waiting for his teammates to respawn. And Explosive is going to just push him back a little bit for his teammate to cap up on the home hill, but his teammate is actually not going to cap up on it because Crushmo is giving him a lot of problems there on the flank.
Yeah, and Optic Gaming not actually getting any points whatsoever. And you can see that what seemed as if it was going to be a good distraction play may have actually just cost them pretty heavily. E-Hill is still in the control of E6. E6 currently the only team getting points. Explosive just cannot seem to cap this hill. Finally, a teammate will hop on it. E has been neutralized, so Optic now could be in a good position to actually hold up the trip cap, and that was them not panicking, recognizing, hey, we may have to give up a big chunk of points here, but we need to win these gunfights. Sadly, though, they're not going to be able to do so. 3 players from Optic do go down, and I mean, look at the scoreboard. Damage done from E6, 160 to 95. I mean, E6 cannot throw this round away.
Yeah, E6 just needs a 2 cap. Optic Gaming is going to have to fight to break this hill, and they're going to have to put all their resources in breaking their home hill all at the same time. E6 are just getting points, and they're in a position where they just need 1 hill cap in order to come out with this round. So Optic, they're going to have to be very aggressive, and with 2 E6 members down, they can push for this domination. Can Noxious hold off this assault right here? It's going to be up to him and Crushmo to defend their home hill, and Noxious missing the mantle kick. He's going to turn back around. Crushmo to flank. We're going to see actually Optic, they're going to break this. E6 not getting no points, but members of E6 are going to be on respawn here. Can Noxious hold off? Members of E6 are falling, and it looks like Optic Gaming will come back from behind, but wait! Affinity is here. He gets shut down. Up to Crushmo. He's not going to get it in time.
He's not going to get it. Just as we say, E6 can't lose rounds like that. They lost a round like that.
That's what I mean by closing it out. That's the round that...
Is it they play too passively? Like, as if they recognize, hey, we can win off 1 hill, let's play passively? Or what went wrong?
At the position when they was able to win with only 1 hill cap, They had 3 of their teammates die across the map somehow, some way. They were fighting a fight that didn't need to be fought, and they lost it. So Noxious and Crushmo did a good job just hurling, just trying to defend until their teammates got there, but they just was not able to make things happen.
Well, E6 in the weapon placement. The last time we saw them do it in round 2, they blocked off. They're going to block off again here. Of course, we've only seen them in weapon placement twice, but as it stands, they do still have this lead, 4-3. But I mean, I feel like their rounds, when you go back and you watch the VOD as a team and you kind of assess what went wrong, you're going to look at it and be like, hey guys, come on. We had like a 50-point lead. Like,
Yeah.
You can't let those rounds slip away.
That's when you got to have a sneaky team member just try to get past all the Optic members as they're pushing forward, push behind them, and go for their home hill just to kind of prolong just the one hill you needed to come out with that win. Those are the demoralizing ones, so we're going to have the leadership of Eternity here to keep his team in this game and just push forward here and try to focus on round number 8.
Eternity going to try and pinch Kenny in. It's 2v1, but Kenny has other ideas. He was able to shut down Noxious. Now Eternity kind of recognizing, I'm pretty weak here. I don't want to get 1v2'd. Kenny, though, feeling himself, looking to try and push through. Will just allow him to escape, of course. Optic were able to get that E hill on Kenny in such a good position now to just put down some Lancer fire.
So E6 is waiting for their teammates to respawn here. They're kind of playing from behind, but not that much at all. And Kenny has a good position on top of the deck, so members of E6 will have to get him before they can even contest for this E hill. So they're gonna have to make sure they plant good smoke grenades to put up that smoke screen and kind of stun Kenny from making any plays.
Just like that.
And you're gonna see that smoke flap right now. It's not gonna stun Kenny, and that's gonna be a bad push. You just see the crossfire coming in from Optic Gaming, and Eternity actually managed to get up here with not that much health missing, and he's gonna get a kill.
Ooh.
Picking up that one, he needs to hit this corner. Here comes Crushmo to try to save his teammate, and Crushmo comes in and takes out Lava, surviving and reviving Eternity right there. So now Crushmo has to be passive. Eternity is trying to get the pressure off of Kenny. Crushmo understands that he's going to be backing up Eternity right here. He needs to win his fight, but he's going to opt to survive and stay alive right here as Eternity tries to win his fight, and Eternity goes down, but Crushmo keeping hope alive here from E6. The Yeti himself is finally going to go down.
Crushmo, the crusher of dreams, essentially over there at that E hill, finally does fall, and Optic regain full control. But bear in mind, as impressive as that individual play was from E6 there from Crushmo, doesn't matter. Look at the lead Optic Gaming are built now. 156 to 117. They were able to keep hold of that E and F hill. That smoke, as you mentioned, just not good enough. Didn't do a good enough job of really blocking off Kenny's line of sight. And he's still going to be around that position, more than happy to keep control of E. And these are those leads, we saw E6 kind of blow last round, but just don't feel like Optic's going to blow it.
And so Crushmo, he's being aggressive once again. They need a 3-cap in order to come out here with this win. Crushmo is trying to fight for Optic's home hill. He's taking a lot of damage. He's going to finally get some support here. It's all or nothing. E6 needs to push forward here, get the neutral hill, get Optic's home hill, but they're going to have to do that without 3 of their team members. Up to Noxious and Crushmo. The question is, can they do it? It's going to start with Noxious winning this fight, and Crushmo winning a fight across map. Noxious cannot lose this, but he does finally go down here. And Optic ties the game.
So unfortunate. An extra maybe half a second, and we could have seen that prolong just a little bit, but Optic have brought themselves back into this one. Now 4 rounds apiece. We're all tied up. E6 once again on weapon placement. So far just 2 blocks from them. Boltok seems kind of like a cop-out.
And I just want people to notice how different halftime can be in escalation. With the weapons removing off the map,
changes
with
everything.
things with hills swapping, and now we're going to see the Markska actually get put on the map. We haven't seen too much action from the Markska, so we're going to have to highlight that player as soon as he get it.
What interests me as well is if you're E6 or Optic Gaming even, or any of the teams on Fight Night, 2 weeks away from one of the biggest tournaments with a huge prize pool, do you really reveal all of your cards? Do you reveal all of those strats that you've been working on? Because if I'm a player or a coach, I'm like, hey, we're hiding everything.
I think you need to just have at least with escalation, you can have so many strats under your arsenal per map, and we're going to see Eternity with some of this long-range fire. And he has a good sight line across the map, but he hasn't done anything too significant with this Markster just yet. And Kenny will get his Markster, and he will be up here for map control. And this is actually a treat here, folks, because we don't see this too often.
I really don't. As Kenny looking just to control this area. I mean, this is basically just Kennyville, if you will.
That's some damage right there. That thing has a kick to it, and Kenny's just trying to slowly snipe across the map here with that Markster.
So Still yet to actually...
And this is where we see that escalation gameplay, not escalation, that execution, that old school execution gameplay come in, where we see a lot more passive gameplay, where teams actually take the setup, take time to push, they're getting points at the same time. Everybody has no big lead here, but Kenny using that movement, staying alive, somehow, some way, staying there to Summons was able to come in and help him out. You know, that's just a collapse there in teamwork.
Kenny just bouncing around, recognized his teammates who were kind of putting down some good shots, just played his life for as long as he possibly could, and then came up and cleaned up a kill. Nicely done by Optic Gaming, and they will now, because of that, get control of that neutral E hill. They're going to start building themselves a lead. It took over a minute, though, before someone was able to actually control that mid hill, as we're actually on board with Hudson's now from E6. And bear in mind, at one point, they were 4-2 up in this game. It's now tied at 4-4. They need to try and break this Optic Gaming momentum.
And so now E6, they will start to slowly, they will get control over this old B hill now, but now they need to use this to kind of flank Optic and take control over their home hill. And we're going to be a 4v4 here. Nox is going to opt to back out of here and just defend his home hill, knowing that he has team members down. And he's going to rotate over here and try to help Infinity out on this neutral hill and just take a different approach.
Just taking his time. Look at that overhead map. We'll show you. It's still Optic. They have Kenny patrolling that E hill. It's so hard to break meanwhile Explosive. He's going to be over at the other side. It's going to be Hudson's trying to shut down Explosive. Is he going to be able to do it? Shots going down from both players, but Hudson's gets the call out. Hey, Mental's behind you. Now they have a 2 versus 1. Surely E6 are going to be able to win this. They will do so. Hudson's cleans up and also reses his teammates. So numerical advantage now in favor for E6. Of course, respawns at 14 seconds, but look at the score, 187 to 151. If you're E6, you got to go, and you got to go now. Optic Gaming can win with a 1 hill advantage. They've done well. They've capped their home hill. Now can they collapse on the E hill and at least buy themselves a little bit of time? That's going to be the question, but Optic have other ideas. Eternity will go down. They just need 7 more seconds, less than that now, 5 seconds. Summons, he's going to down Hudson's in the hill, and Optic Gaming should be good to secure this win.
Nox is not able to come in there and make a statement, and Optic Gaming coming from behind, coming from that 4-2 deficit, and they're taking the lead here.
Just a big switch in momentum.
And that just gives them so much confidence and takes so much momentum away from E6. E6 needs to fight back, which I'm sure they will, but they need to come out of here with this win.
So what do you do in this weapon placement if you're E6?
If I'm E6 and I'm in this weapon placement, you know what, you have to try to you don't want to bait Optic towards the bottom half of the map, because you don't want to give them something that they're too deadly with. I think we're going to see a sniper go towards the top half of the map where the markers are. And so now we're going to have to see Eternity get into that fight with Kenny. He cannot allow Kenny up to the top of that hill there without without fighting him.
Kenny's just kind of making it look easy, that's for sure. As we're see a look at the overhead, 3 players from each team going to cap the home hill, and 2 players splitting over towards E on board with Eternity to kick things off here. They're from E6. Bear in mind, it was over a minute before we saw the E hill capped last round. It was a pretty slow start. This time though, E6 maybe going to try to take the fight to Optic Gaming here, as Noxious was able to get it down. Teammate in support, I believe it's going to be Crushmo being aggressive, and they will look to find that first pick. So maybe they're actually able to get their hands here on this E hill a little quicker than last time.
Crushmo with so much confidence, but he's going to go down there. That snipe will be up very soon. This is where E6 needs to cap up and play for points here. Noxious is going to try to use his movement to take a few less shots here and making sure his teammates cap this hill. And that was actually the twerk bow plays up top, so I apologize about that, folks. And Eternity making good use of that twerk bow, and he's going to be defending this E hill. So you take a look at the strategy. E6 makes the aggressive push. They get control of E hill before the lift makes it to the bottom of the map and open up those gates where you'd be able to get that twerk bow, and Eternity can just single-handedly hold this by itself. And, hopefully he gets some teammates in here, but he needs to win this 1v2, which he may just do it if he can connect with this shot, and he takes out Kenny. But he was not able to clean up Summons in time, and he tapped up here, and now Optic will get control over this E hill.
And that's such a big win for Summons, because as you said, they have numbers at E. They should be able to flood the hill out, but you have to think if he wins that 1v2, he's a little quicker in this first kill and he cleans up Summons. Maybe E6 would have been able to hold on to the E hill. For now, though, it belongs to Optic Gaming, as Hudson's just desperately trying to crawl away.
So for our new viewers out there, that it is execution rules. So when you actually down a player, you have to get up close to him and finish him off, or they can revive themselves after 15 seconds. So Eternity just was not able to win that fight in time, and Summons had revived himself at that point, and he just won the 1v1 there.
Look at the overhead. You can see those red arrows, of course, of Optic Gaming. They may have to make a defensive pusher here over towards E because we're getting pretty close to the end of this round. 128 to 119. So right about 70 or 80 seconds or so, and this one's going to be over, folks, as Eternity and the boys at E6, they pushed out Kenny from up top. Now can they jump on the E hill? Of course, there is plenty of points still to be had. If they're able to control D and E, they will win this game. They will be able to reduce that deficit enough and take the lead just in time, but they cannot afford to lose their home hill, as Lava and Mental say, well, we're just going to stroll over to your home hill. We're going to cap that.
That was bad right there. You got to have your team fire right there and just kind of read down that guy. All those Optic members was in the open. We saw, I think that was Noxious that pushed up there. He tried to get that kill and tried to get that revive there, but just was not able to. And Optic took advantage of that. And they got control over 2 of these points here. Attorney needs to wait for his teammates to respawn, and soon they're going to have to get one of these home hills, but at the same time, they cannot give up E.
Attorney's done a good job. I mean, he's holding E by himself. He needs his teammates to actually kind of win those gunfights at D. Now they're going to at least have to neutralize F, but the problem is E now completely neutral. So you have to see E6 flood that F hill. They just need to touch it, and in actual fact, they're going to do just that. They may be able to just buy enough time to take the lead here.
They're in a good position. If Hudson's gets some help here, and he's going to actually crawl in here, and he's going to prevent them from getting points in. Hudson's
he's doing such a good job. He did such a good job, but is it going to be enough? A look at the score. You see Kenny B just rushing towards that D hill. Is he going to be able to get it neutral in time? Look at the score, 202 to 203. It's basically slap bang even. I believe Optic Gaming have half a second of a lead. Someone from E6 needs to try and break it. Optic Gaming, I think they're going to get it.
And I think they will as well here, and they will win 5 straight rounds and take this 6-4 lead.
That was a half a second difference. That was legitimately half a second of difference. Crushmo did just enough. He could recontest at the hill to keep it one hill each and a neutral, but half a second. That was literally all that.
Those are the rounds that hurt right there, Benson.
They really are. I mean, how'd you regain after that? Especially considering you look back at this whole map as a whole, you're like, hey, we were leading 4-2. We were leading 4-2. And now we find ourselves not winning a round in the entire second half.
And so now
that's brutal.
E6 is going to throw away this weapon placement, and they're just gonna opt to play with what's on the map already. It's been a close game. They just gotta close it out. Like, a lot of these rounds has been losses just off of basic rotations, communication, and just a few gunfights. So I can't blame them for it.
I mean, you look at the one round they had full control of in blue, and this is that time where you're thinking, you know, we could have had 4, we could have had 5 rounds. This could be a tied game right now. We could be in the lead if we were making a few small mistakes, as you mentioned, but it is Optic now at map point here in the North American 2K final. Noxious from E6 going to be on your screens as he's just going to slowly back away, but he's going to be challenged. And Optic now really starting to turn up the heat. 18-second respawn delay. They know that numerical advantages will win you games as Summons just straight up has no respect for Crush Mode. Clearly, runs straight at it.
If you ever want to say, when people say, yo, who's Optic's weakest member? They always say Summons. Well, that's what Optic's weakest member looks like right there, okay? You want to say Optic got a weak member? That's what he's going to do to you, so you better be ready to fight that.
Yep, Optic Gaming, very, very solid map 1 from them. They won every single round in the second half. E6 was not able to win a round in that second half. That's how...
Man, that hurts.
That's how dominant they were.
I feel bad for them.
29 kills from Explosive. Best player in the game?
Arguably, yes.
Who else is up there, in your opinion?
You definitely got to put Toy Soldier up there.
Okay.
You know, it's hard to not put most of the. You definitely got every player from Optic in the top 10, in my opinion. I can have all players of Optic definitely in that top 10, and then but you have Praise there. You have Toy Soldier there. You know, you got a lot of top. You got some good top players in this game. So. But definitely members of Optic is holding that top 5, at least half of them.
Explosive, so good, that's for sure. Looks very, very solid map number 1. In terms of map number 2, where are we heading to next in this North American?
We're going to be heading to Impact next. And so we're going to be heading to Impact. This is going to be E6's map pick, so we're going to see how they can actually fare on this one. And Impact is actually going to have that lift feel where at a certain point, those home hills are going to be kind of close together. It's going to be a good spacing, but it's going to come down to who can actually win their team fights and rotations when it comes down here to Impact. But E6, they need to kind of fight back here. That was a demoralizing loss because you start off with so much fire and boom.
Oh, we heard a little bit from E6 before this grand final begun. Optic Gaming, they find themselves 1-0 up now, so let's have a little listen to what they have to say.
My name is Chris Anderson, otherwise known as Lava. I play for Optic Gaming, and we've been together as a team since the start of Gears UE. there's a lot more to the game than just like shooting the other team. Like it's movement based, like there's a lot of thought that goes into every fight. Once I learned that, like I just like started like studying the game, like being a student of the game, mastering every mechanic essentially. I feel like my teammates are the best players in Gears 4 period. It's almost like a family, so the chemistry we have in game because of that is unlike any other team. Our loss to United in that online 2K tournament, honestly, it's not something we can just look over. Like obviously, like it stung and it was kind of a wake-up call to us. Like we need to be grinding more, like practicing harder. Now that we're here, like we're really like showing up and bringing the intensity, and like we're back to where I want us to be. We're the best team in the game right now, so we're just gonna prove it.
Best team in the game, just gonna prove it.
They are the NSYNC of Gears of War.
Really?
And Envious is the Backstreet Boys.
I mean, Toy Soldier's hair, I guess that kind of
right?
Just saying.
It kind of goes with it, you know, so. Oh, man.
I'm excited to see.
And Fallout's going to join that soon.
Yeah,
so.
he definitely is. Don't think we forgot, John. We don't forget. We don't forget.
I'm still waiting to see if he actually does it.
He won't.
Blind tips?
He won't. And I know he won't. I know he won't. But Optic Gaming, they find themselves 1-0 up here in the North American 2K final, going up against E6. Of course, we still have some stuff to go at the end of the show. We're announcing the groups, the pools for MLG Columbus. That's going to be at the very, very end of the show. So do make sure you stay tuned for that. But map number 2, where again was it you said we're heading to?
We're going to Impact on map number 2. So.
Okay.
E6 is going to have to, early on, they're going to have to fight for control over this B hill. They're going to have to actually group up and make sure that they solidify control and take the opportunities that they can get of being aggressive here and working with their numbers. And they can't play passively against Optic Gaming, because if so, Optic Gaming will take advantage of them every chance that they can get.
I mean, talking about map number 1, just to kind of break that one down for you guys at home, E6 won 4 of the first 5 rounds of that map and then went on to not win another one. What went wrong in your eyes? Was it not utilizing weapon placement as well as they could have been? Because I mean, at that point you have a lot of time to use the weapon placement, right? If you're not winning rounds, or was it something else actually in the game?
You know, I think E6's sauce just got cold. You know, they have to actually play with that confidence going forward. You know, they can't. You know, at certain rounds they try to play with numbers, but that Optic got that defining win on the one round where they actually came back. E6 was about 10 points away from winning, and then they dominated E6, and that was the turning point for Optic Gaming coming forward.
They lost their mojo.
They definitely did.
they had no mojo by the end of that, that's for sure. But as a player's perspective as well, how difficult is it to kind of shake off a loss like that?
You know, it's kind of difficult, but at this stage of gameplay, it should be second nature. You know, you lose, you keep going forward, and you just keep on going, and you can't let that affect your gameplay going forward, because it's a brand new map. You know, you're going to have 2 sides of each map. You're going to have the first half and the second half, different strategies used on both. So you essentially have a lot of different opportunities to turn a game around. If you kind of break it down that way into segments.
Absolutely. Losing is learning, but you should always do the learning after a series. There's no point kind of talking about map number 1 when you're jumping into map number 2. Speaking of map number 2, we are underway on board with Noxious. E6, of course, going to be our red squad for map number 2. Optic Gaming, the blue squad is Noxious and the squad trying to fight this down low. They should be able to win the early engagements. Hudson's and Noxious both getting early wins.
Yo, the duo themselves, they actually share call tags. They got each have a call tag around their neck. That's
Isn't that so
right
cute? Aww.
But in that opening fight, you know, they have to play for that wide control over there on the B hill. They're playing for that angle, and they actually came out on top there. But Optic Gaming won their 2v2 fight across map and played for E6's home hill. So now we're going to see members of E6 engaged in this 2v2 fight for control over their home hill. But Kenny, and I want to say Summons, have something to say about that. That's going to be actually Kenny and Explosive is going to push across and control this for the team. Now we have Crushmo making a desperation push for Optic's home hill, but he's not going to stay alive. And this may be the domination, because Kenny and Explosive are dominating E6's home hill. And you see the distance between that spawn and the home hill. That's a big gap right there that you can control, and those members have to, you know, get through that distance.
Now, interestingly, someone from E6 was able to overextend all the way through B. They've actually capped the B hill. Someone else actually made it all the way to A. So, I mean, you got Explosive doing a phenomenal job of it's essentially spawn trapping E6. E6 cannot cap their home hill. Finally, he goes down. But if I'm Explosive, I'm out here saying, guys, for 20 to 25 seconds, I controlled their home hill.
Yeah.
No one off spawn was able to get through. It was just the 2 players that were already alive. You guys have to be able to shut that down, but damage done in the big picture. A 50-point lead already, and we're, you know, nearly 2 minutes in. It's a pretty big lead.
Yeah, members of E6, when they get down like this, they have to make a defining decision on which hill do they want to go to break. Do they want to go across map? Both of them, I would say, is probably equal distance to get to the B hill and their home hill, just slightly off. And that fight that they won at the neutral hill was good. So now in this position, they're about to get dominated. They have to at least have one person sneak over there towards that B hill and get control of it. But Noxious is trying to keep his team in it, and you just see Mental going mental, picking up a kill on Explosives and Noxious, and Kenny wins his 1v1 against Eternity. And here comes that domination, and E6 will not be able to stop this.
Optic Gaming, nice round number 1. Took them just over, or just under 2.5 minutes to pick up round 1. But just complete domination. Explosive went ham, so did Mental. 5 and 6 kills respectively for both of those 2 guys. It just seems like, you know, the spawn can be so far away from your home hill that as soon as it kind of adds to that spawn delay. Obviously 10 seconds, right, but you have to add on the time of traveling. So even on early rounds in this map, you can get trip cap very, very easily.
Yeah, we can see where all the players are in spawn, and you see the distance to their home hill at the bottom and a distance to that neutral point. So this is one of those maps where if you get slayed up, dominations come quick.
They really do. I feel like at times it can almost be easier just to go to B.
True.
Just overextend straight up.
That's why I say, yeah, you have to make that decision when you come out of spawn. You have to commit to it, and you have to make a team decision as well.
Absolutely, you do.
So we will see those retro launchers get placed, and they will be used over here towards the B hill for their teammates, for those support players, almost those anchors, so to speak. But by the retro lancer has a lot of kick to it, but it does a lot of damage. And the sight line from those stairs to this actual B hill is pretty close. So even though you're going to have a lot of recoil there, you're still going to be putting out a lot of damage. It's not too much long distance fire that you have to do with that retro lancer. So we're going to see that retro lancer get put to work to both teams here. And it looks like Optic Gaming will come out on top of this initial fight. But you see members of E6 coming around here on the flank. But Optic, they will stay keep control over this.
However, they are actually losing the A hill. So despite putting numbers over towards B, they weren't actually able to cap that hill. And A has been lost, as has C. So E6, if they're quick, they could collapse, but unfortunately, you see just how quickly Optic Gaming are taking control of that A home hill for them. And now they have B. They're going to start building themselves a little bit of a lead with that 2-to-1 hill advantage. Of course, they have to chip away at E6's lead first, but that one is going to be over pretty soon.
That was a failed smoke right there by Eternity. And I was going to say E6 cannot make a play on this B hill from down here. They need some teammates to either flank from middle, or they need to play for Optic's home hill, because Optic has a good defense over here. And then you see Crushmore across map. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to be playing for Optic's home hill. He's trying to win his 1v1 with support from his teammate across map. But Explosive has that right-hand advantage, and Crushmore is going to opt to flank members of Optic to help his teammates down here, trying to catch Summons and Lava off guard. And you're going to see Hudson's push down there with Eternity, and they're going to actually get a little bit of control. Crushmore goes down in the process, but at the price of E6 getting control over that neutral point.
Oh, Explosive, though. He's going to try and run in and stop the res. He does shut down Crushmore. Can he find the second? He's going to be able to get it as well, and immediately applies the pressure to C. Didn't even hesitate in thinking about that. Has to kind of pray his teammates win some gunfights over at B, though, which they haven't been able to do so. Hudson has capped that. C Hill going back to Optic Gaming. If they collapse again onto B here, they may actually be able to get that trip cap relatively early, but Hudson's not going to allow that to happen at all.
Hudson's being very, very quickly. Him and Affinity has to defend this point. If not, Optic Gaming can possibly get this domination here. It's going to be up to them guys to defend the only point that E6 has in their control, but we will see C get capped, which will be E6's home hill. So they can win this with a 2 cap, but I doubt we see that happen. There's still a lot more action here.
Yeah, they're going to apply pressure somewhere. It's just a matter of figuring out exactly where they're going to head. As we're on board with Kenny, you see so many shots being fired. He's going to keep his head down, wait for that health to regen. If he's actually going to push straight towards him, but Kenny, not even bothered. Just going to try and secure that B hill. His teammates on it, and actually, he's managed to get behind enemy lines here. He's over towards C. If he wins this 1v1 against Noxious, he may actually be able to cap it. of course, either that has been taken by E6. They just OE'd themselves. And really, Kenny needs a little bit of help. So much shots coming down. He's not able to do anything. And you take a look at that score. Has he bought his team enough time to mathematically win this with just one hill? That is the question. 194 to 181. I believe he has done just that.
No, he has. I don't. Well,
they just need to hold B. If they hold B,
he did.
Oh, they're losing B though. Oh, there was a couple of seconds without points. This is going to get close, but no, they will secure the W unless Hudson's was able to get there, but no, the push came in just fractions too late.
And we see Optic holding down mathematically, and you see all the route that Kenny took to just kind of juke those members of E6 and get on their home hill, even though it wasn't successful, but it's just those heads-up plays right there just to try to catch people off guard. And we take a look at this weapon placement. Boom shot may not go down, you know?
Nah.
I highly doubt
it's E6. It's going to be
grenades.
a block or nades, dude. A block or nade. Actually, they did put down the torque bow and...
Torque bow is good on this map because you have a sight line from the tail end to the cockpit of the plane.
They won't do it. Oh, they did it. Yes. See, it was like reverse psychology. You tell them they won't do it, they do it.
We're going to see how that works out for us in the next few rounds. So, okay. So, the next round, we're going to say, they ain't going to put down no drop shot. They ain't going to do it.
If they put down drop shot, though, then
we just need to be put in the shrine somewhere.
We're like Yoda. That's what we are. But going into round number 3, of course, Talk has been put down over towards that B hill. And it looked of a similar strat. Nothing really changed there.
E6 won this fight last time, but Optic will have the right-hand advantage out on the cockpit side of the plane, and they will get out here, but Explosive picks up a kill, so his teammates kind of come off the gas just a little bit and allow them to play their numbers and just trade damage here. He's going to actually pull him over.
Oh.
Is he going to stab him? Is he going to stab him? He's going to point blank him. I want to see the stab so bad. And Optic will come out with his torque bow, and they will have a good sight line across the map, and that torque bow is going to be in the hand of Mental, and he's going to throw that lob up, and he wants it to fall down.
Imagine, dude, if that hits, I'm gonna freaking lose it. Okay, okay, good. Thank you. Good. I don't have to deafen people in the chat. But Mental, he's just gonna rotate straight over towards A, and that was probably one of the easier rounds Optic Gaming has ever won in competitive games.
And you kind of see, you know, that's why some teams fear putting a heavy weapon on the map because, you know, the opposing team can just take advantage of it. If you don't and come out with dominations like that.
True, but you didn't even use it.
Yeah,
that wasn't as if the torque opened up the map and allowed them to get the trip cap. It was just kind of like you lost your early gunfight and you just rotated with the torque.
But I don't think that was the good round for E6 to place that because they didn't have that right-hand advantage that Optic had when it came down to fighting for that wide angle of the cockpit. So this round, they're going to have it. So hopefully they have a better fight here and just kind of push it out there and take advantage of these guys. And we will take a look at this overhead, and we will see another 3v3 fight. And you're going to see both teams kind of almost double cap their home hill and have one member flank from the middle. And Optic's not even, Lava's not even going to fight that fight over there by the cockpit. He's going to come over here and try to take this 2v1 and cut off crush mode. And now they're going to turn around. E6 need to try to take advantage of this. And members of Optic will go down, but not before taking out Noxus. They will have the man advantage.
Lava's just crawling to Explosive. He's like, bro, help. Get me up,
help
bro.
Me.
Get me up. And Explosive has fallen. Lava was able to get up in time. They will trade that kill, and Optic Gaming have sprung into life here in game number 2 of this 2K final. Kenny says, I don't think so, Affinity. They also have control of the torque once again. If Kenny...
Oh, wow. Kenny embarrassing people here on the mainstream today.
Okay, can we get a rip in the chat for E6 right now?
Can some Bible thumbs?
Oh my
Lord.
Kenny,
if he does it,
Kenny,
but the support from Mental across map got the domination, and Mental is there. Members of E6 just cannot come out of spawn, and Kenny is just running through these guys. Mental with twerk bow, Kenny defending that home hill. Optic have won 10 straight rounds here, folks.
That's really depressing when you put it like that.
Yeah, when you think about the bigger picture.
10 straight rounds. Yo, they won't put drop shot down. They won't do it.
That
would have been...
Oh, right.
Damn it. Our powers are broken.
Right? We
did it once, right? We did it once, man.
We would have thought.
Optic Gaming fully in control. Explosive leading the pack once again in terms of kills. 13 kills and only 72 seconds spent dead. So definitely doing a good job. But let's not forget, in map number 1, it was E6 who went into the half with a 4-2 lead. And they ended up losing that one 7-4. So still plenty of opportunities for E6 to bounce back into this one. But that opening strat, man, I feel like that's where they're getting outplayed by Optic. I mean, you saw last round, Mental just kind of ignored, so did Lava. They ignored the B fight completely. They were just like, nope, we're not going to go for this, and then they just sprung into action and turned around. Now you see the gunfights go in E6's favor, but just like that explosive, he's going to get one nade kill, looking for more, but Hudson's will trade him out. So seems like for now, the opening has been won by E6.
Now the question is, what do they want to do now? You know, do they want to push the boundaries, take some fights?
When you're 18-second respawn delay,
See, look at this. Kenny knows his team is down, and he opts to take the 1v1 and play for the enemy team's home hill, knowing that all his teammates are dead. But, you know, he chose to be aggressive right there, and it brought his teammates some time to respawn there.
Absolutely did. Absolutely did.
Because he said, I'm not going to let you guys cross me out. I'm going to actually push up here and take the fight and be the aggressor. I'm not going to let you guys just, you know, embarrass me. I'm not going down without a fight.
Lava is going to be down, though. Unfortunately for him, that's Crushmo that cleans him up. As we take a look at Hudson's perspective, talk in hand, he should be able to defend that B hill with that, but what is he going to connect it with Explosive? And Explosive, is he feeling himself right now? Let's find out now. Decides against going for that full-on challenge, but Hudson is able to get a couple of shots down with that pistol. As Explosives, what fantastic.
Optic isn't getting any points right now.
The scary thing is, though, I don't think it bothers them too much.
No, they're just worried about the tasks that they have at hand before they actually drop back and cap those hills.
You're 18-second respawn delay. They know the second they get a couple of kills, plus bear in mind the map and how long it is to run back to your home hill, if they get 3 players down, you already know someone is running towards that E6 home hill.
You see Explosives right there with those nerd angles. And we're going to see him pick up a kill there. Mental picks up a kill as well. And E6, the pressure is on as they have an assault on their home hill. Mental, if he wins this 1v1, which he will not. Affinity comes out right there, but the domination, he brought just enough time. Oh! Kenny missed that shot right there, and he goes down, and that keeps E6 alive.
Affinity single-handedly keeping E6 in this game right there. That should have been a trip cap, really. Now, Optic may result in kicking themselves at the end of this one, but you know, we saw how big that E6 lead was. Now you see how much it's dwindled down, almost at just 10 points. Noxious so desperately trying to jump back over towards B again. To reiterate, this is an 18-second respawn round, and E6, they're now going to try and go for the trip cap. Numbers over at B, they should be able to cap this. Will they be able to secure a C, though? That is the question. It doesn't look like it. Plus, you have Mental over at B.
You play for two hill cap at this point. Don't overextend. Don't play for the home hill. Play off of time. Optic Gaming has to make a play very, very quickly here, and so you just need to be on the defensive. Even if the neutral hill goes neutral, and nobody's getting no points there, yeah, they'll still win off their home hill. So they need to not OE here.
Well, the B hill should go to Optic. The kills are there. And this could be the collapse. Is anyone over towards A? Doesn't matter. E6 have OE. Just 2 players actually decided to go towards C. So it's almost an aggressive defensive play. Beautifully done, but Explosives has other ideas. He's able to shut down one. That was Crushmo looking for the second. Both hills are neutral. There's just 1 second left. Explosive just killed Hudson. Oh my god! Explosive has just won the game for Optic Gaming.
My god! Oh my
Explosive.
God. Wow.
Explosive.
Wow. Yo, you feel that? You feel that, Benson?
Explosive.
That's my heart.
Bro.
It's beating.
I feel the heartbeat.
Oh.
How?
As we gather here today, Gears of War Fight Night on the main stream, we want to say a prayer. As E6 has just faced a devastating tragedy here on Gears of War Fight Night with a 209 domination loss. And as we go forward here, we would just like to send our condolences as the casting team here from MLG to E6 on that one. Moving forward here to round number 7, folks. All right.
There is no recovery from that. There is absolutely no recovery. You can put down whatever you want on the map. It does not matter. Bruh, 209 and Explosive just popped.
That was just a great play, man.
Explosive is so damn good.
Oh wow!
It's so fun to watch him. Explosive, he just killed himself with a nade. He's probably just out here celebrating. He's like, guys, I just won this game. I'm gonna kill myself. It's fine.
So
don't worry about it.
E6 tried to get some momentum there with that win, but they were not able to. We're gonna have Optic Gaming with the 5-0 lead. And E6 is trying to counter back here in round number 6 with a domination of their own, and they will come out with it early one with those 20-second respawns.
I can't believe what just happened. Okay, all right, E6, you can do it. I believe.
They definitely can.
They can do
definitely
this.
That was the round that they needed.
Exactly. They're going to get a big momentum shift.
And so going forward here, this is going to be halftime, so those respawn timers will drop down here to 10 seconds.
And that's in E6 favor.
Yes, it is, because E6 wins a lot of earlier rounds, especially in the first map. You know, with those lower respawn timers.
Oh, good God. I love Gears Fight Night. It truly is a wonderful time to watch some Gears of War. As we're going to be on board with Hudson's from E6, as Guy said. Of course, we're at the half, so the map has fully flipped. Just E, the now mid-neutral hill, D and F, the home hills for both our squads. But Optic Gaming well and truly in control, despite E6 winning the last round of the half. It's definitely going to be a very, very tall mountain to climb here if you're on E6 fan. Of course, it's the North American 2K Grand Final. Optic find themselves 1-0 up, of course. This isn't the only, or the end of the show, we should say. We have the groups from MLG Columbus to announce. And while I'm kind of chin-wagging about that, Optic Gaming, they've decided to just go ahead and trip cap in the first round in under 46 seconds. So very, very aggressive round one of the half.
Yeah, Optic Gaming said, hold up, you thought you got some momentum, and we're going to counter that with 10-second respawns. All right, which is an incredible feat right there early on, especially
under 50 seconds in 10-second respawn. Just think about that.
Yeah, so E6 with the first weapon placement, and they will opt to put those Retro Lancers on this map once again. So we're starting to see a trend there with those Retro Lancers that you know, those support players, they are definitely you know, feeling them.
Weapon of choice. Weapon of choice. Explosives. 19 kills. He led the charge map 1 with most kills. And he's done the same thing here in map number 2. As we'll see off the break, Optic Gaming 3 plays towards their home hill. Similar thing for E6 here, but these early gunfights at E6, they have to win. You can't give Optic Gaming control. Of course, something now at match point. It's worth mentioning. Of course, they win one more round, they're going to be your 2K champs.
Yeah, the round count here has been somewhat like 11-1 in favor of Optic Gaming with this just incredible comeback and just showing why they are the best. Just when you thought E6 was going to put the pressure on these guys, they fought back and had to remind the world of why they are who they are.
I mean, if you look at like the first 5 to 10 minutes of this North American 2K, it was all E6.
Yeah, it was.
The problem was it just kind of spiraled a little bit out of control, and I think that's one of the things teams have to kind of not necessarily improve on, but learn how to control the tempo when it gets out of your control. Because it's very easy at that point to get your head down and to just start making incorrect decisions. But you saw, you know, in Optic's case, they're able to bounce back. And it's so true in any sport, any e-sport, keeping composure and not losing full.
And I don't think that's a collapse on actual skill and gameplay. I think that's a leadership thing. That's an emotional leadership thing of knowing how to keep your players in control and keep their mindsets where they need to be and focus on the next rounds when you lose some of those close rounds like E6 did here. And that needs to be somebody on their team to actually step up and be that guy. Because they all have still been making good plays here throughout this entire matchup, but it's just like they lost a little bit of gas there.
Just a little bit. There's Mental now on your screen. He's over towards the E hill. He should be able to easily clean up one. Optic looking to retake control of this. A couple of players, though, from E6 look to be potentially overextending. Some good shots are going down. You see just how weak Hudson's was actually made from that. And he's left in a pretty rough position, but you can see he has the support of Crushmo and one more. But Explosive is going to make that just 2, not 3. Explosive still alive somehow. That gunfight still going on over towards D. But as you can see, as it stands, if Optic Gaming are able to retake control of D, which they should be able to, they will very shortly go into the lead. But E6 with other ideas, a couple of kills going in their favor now. They should be able to put the pressure here on Explosive.
Yeah, Explosive is going to get his life back. He is going to take a step back here to make sure he can defend this with his teammate. They're going to slowly try to cap this on the edges of the hill. And the E6 members actually dropped back and they opted not to fight this. So that means they did rotate across the map towards the F hill as it's being decapped here. So Optic, what do they want to do? And it looks like Kenny is eyeing that 1v1 situation. Anytime Kenny sees a 1v1, he takes it 95% of the time.
Mental in a great position here to really cause E6 some problems. D&E under Optic Gaming's control. If he's able to push up towards his E6 spawn, it's really going to buy Optic Gaming some time. They have now taken the lead. As you see, it's a small one, but it is a lead nevertheless. If it stays like this, Optic Gaming will be your North American 2K champs. Mental
you just see how he played the edge of the smoke right there. That's just some advanced level techniques, you know? Knowing that he can use the smoke as a smoke screen to kind of get a wider position in case that enemy came in and just tried to get a quick up A.
Mental looking to finish this one out right here, right now. F&D are both switch. Mental will clean up Noxious with just shy of 8 points needed. Optic Gaming are going to secure the win. They will be your North American 2K champs for 2 weeks on the bounce, I believe. So congratulations to them. That game, a very dominating performance. Map number 1, of course, was a 7-4 win for Green Wall. Map number 2 was 7-1, and you kind of brought up how many rounds in a row that was that they actually won. It was 11 rounds.
Yep.
Uncontested throughout map 1 and map 2.
And that's a crazy thing to do, man.
That's a lot of rounds.
Yeah, that's a difficult thing to do, especially the way escalation plays and the gameplay changes based off of the losing team placing weapons on the map, based off of halftime. It just shows how well Optic Gaming is at playing fast-paced and adapting to any situation that they're put in.
For sure. Talk about MVP, though, of the fight of the night. It has to go to one guy and one guy only. I mean, you gave E6 a prayer because of what this guy did. I mean, explosive, you, sir.
Call him the Reaper.
Myth, legend.
Wearing all black there.
I don't think he's even human. I think there's probably some kind of robotics going on inside there. I don't know what that was.
The Optic Undertaker.
Absolute animal. Congratulations to yourself, Explosive, MVP of the fight of the night. And once again, congratulations to Optic Gaming winning yet another 2K. And that brings us to an interesting point of conversation, right?
Yes.
We've been talking about the pools all night, and obviously 2K pro points. We know Optic Gaming is ahead, so you know that they're in a pretty good position come Columbus.
Exactly.
But where the hell
is
are the
everybody
rest of the
else?
team? That's the question, right? Who falls in what group? I'm so excited to finally reveal.
Announce it to everybody.
The groups. Everyone is gonna get to see the groups. Some of them are pretty close. I'm not gonna lie. You look at some and you're like, oh, who is there? Who is there? And then others you're like, okay, maybe that one could be a little bit more simplistic.
But first off, let's show everybody all the teams that's gonna be in the group. Before we tell you they're gonna be placed, let's show you our top 8 qualifying teams that's gonna be in here. And you're gonna have United coming in, locking down one of these positions. You're gonna have Team Envy in here as well.
I love the Envy squad. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love Toy Soldier. I think
Mind
great.
Freak.
The boys from Down Under. Fan of those guys. We'll see how they're going to compete. Of course, you got the Green Wall, North American 2K champs this week, guy.
And then next on the list, we're going to have the Latin American favorites, also winning that Xbox Mexico award for the best team and best esports team in Latin America. You're gonna have E6 and be following them. We're gonna have Team Revenge, those underdogs themselves. Not so much underdogs now. They've made a point. They've proven a valuable point. You see Ellipson that we also seen tonight in the EU showcase matches. Complete domination. The new kids on the block, Team Vex being led there by Strangulate. We're gonna have Supremacy in here as well. We're gonna have Enix, Nasty's new squad, and then Glory, now Bot Empire as well.
But here is exactly how the pools are going to be broken down. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, we can announce Pool A. You're going to have Optic Gaming and
We've seen
E6
all 3 of these teams tonight.
battling it out, and Epsilon Esports, they're going to be in there as well. As you said, Guy, we had all 3 of these teams on Fight Night. I'm so excited to see how this pool is going to break down. Of course, Optic versus E6, we just saw. Optic came out on top, but I think E6, they can take a lot. They can learn from what happened this evening. They still have some time to prepare. Then, of course, Epsilon. Could they be potentially a dark horse in this pool? We'll have to wait and see. I think, for me, the most exciting game in the pool is going to be Epsilon versus E6. Of course, you maybe sat at home saying, why is there only 3 teams in the pool? Well, of course, we have an open bracket at Columbus, so open bracket team will be seeded into that pool. And if you're that open bracket team, I pray for you.
Yo, because that's a pretty strong pool to be in. But it also depends. It depends on the team that comes out of open brackets. Because we have teams like NRG and Orbit in those open brackets.
That's a good point.
Depends on the E6 team that shows up, and also how well would this Epsilon team play in the States. Now, as we see tonight, they're pretty much the best team in EU. So are they going to play like that on American soil? We're going to find out soon.
Traditionally, when you talk about Europeans and North Americans in Gears of War, have Europeans come over and placed well in North American soil, or not so much? Because you look at games like Halo,
last ones
Call of Duty.
was the Legends of Dignitas. Came over in Gears of War 1 and got a top 4 finish in MLG Toronto, and then they end up getting a 9th place finish at the championships in Vegas, at the playoffs in Dallas, I believe, actually.
Okay, so not too bad. In other esports, there's a definite bigger gap. But that was a look at Pool A. Now, let's take a look at